So we're at the Empress then, aren't we? And Matt, you work here as a chef, and Linda, you're Matt's mum, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So why are we here today? What are we talking about?
Basically, I'm here today to talk about the Great North Run. I'm putting myself in a challenge for the Great North Run. I've never done anything like this before, but I'm also doing it for the brain tumour charity, which is for my nan, which recently, about 5 years ago, passed away from a brain tumour. Is it more than that?
4.
About 4 years ago, sorry. She passed away from a brain tumour.
And what's her story then? Was that something that she had for a while, or was it a very quick, development for her?
It was quite a quick development. So my granddad, her husband, had a major stroke. He was only 63 years old, which is no age really. And she said that she was going to be fine and everything else, and she was going to be all right on her own. And she stayed at a caravan park in Pateley Bridge. I can't remember the name of it. And she was there a lot, and she had a fall coming to meet me and my fiance, and never thought anything of it.
What sort of age was she at that time then?
She was 65, I believe. 66. I can't roughly remember.
67.
67, yeah. 67. My mum knows more about
it. She was 67.
Than me, but that was the first instance when we started noticing that things weren't right, when she had that first fall in Bridge. Don't mind Boris.
Hang on, we're just going to struggle with that.
Boris,
there's some noises that you can get.
There's another couple of dogs out there.
Come on, Boris.
So after she had the fall, then what did you notice in her?
It wasn't until she went back home after the holiday. She wasn't with it. So
she was forgetful.
Yeah.
She'd go to Morrison's, she'd leave a shopping trolley, and then tell me that some little Chinese woman had pinched it. I'd go to Morrison's with her, and then they'd say, "Oh, by the way, you left your trolley here."
And did you not initially just suspect that, like us all really, as we get older, most people have memory problems, don't they?
At first I thought it, because I worked in care, I thought, is she starting with dementia? And I sort of mentioned to my older sister about it, and we sort of kept an eye on her, because Mum was so young. She was only obviously 67. You couldn't tell her. She was so independent. She'd walk everywhere. She would go out right early in the morning and do her shopping, and then come home. Even though she had all day, she wouldn't class herself as an old age pensioner. So we sort of kept an eye on her, and nothing sort of materialised.
I think it was mainly when I took her shopping, me and my partner, and my eldest child. We took her shopping to Morrison's, went for a KFC, and she was walking really slowly.
Yeah.
Which is one of the main symptoms, and forgetful. And my partner was pregnant with my second child at the time. So I'm a big firm believer of you got to take a life to give a life. A big firm believer of that. And we went to this shop in Leeds, and she just started filling the basket full of stuff that she'd already bought us. And my mum rung me that night and said, "How was your nana?" And I was like, it was very, very stressful. There's something not right.
And from there then, did you go back to a GP and more specialists? Or?
No, we did. It wasn't until she fell at home, and she'd been out to Kenya. And she'd come back, and who she went with had rung me at work and said, "Your mum doesn't seem right." She says, "I've gone into the flat today and I've had to tidy it up." And I thought, strange, because Mum was always house proud. And I thought, okay. I says, "Well, I can't do anything, I'm at work. I'll call round on the Monday." So I went round on the Monday, and the door was unlocked. She lived in the centre of Leeds, And she was always told by my stepdad, always make sure the door is locked. Because you live in Leeds, that this door has to be locked at all times. So I went round, because obviously I had a key, and the door was unlocked. I thought, strange. Then I walked into the house, into the flat, and it was just a right mess. It looked like it'd been ransacked. So I shouts at her, and she was sat in the living room on the chair arm, which she would never, ever, ever do, still in her nightwear at 10:30. Really, really strange. So I says, why aren't you dressed? Oh, I can't be bothered today. And I says, oh, right. And then, so I had, I think I rang the doctors, and the doctor refused to come out. But she'd had a fall, apparently she'd had a fall during the night. And the ambulance people and the occupational therapists had come, and they were there. They came on that Monday, and my mum wouldn't even listen, understand, should I say, a simple instruction like, Mum, turn around, sit on the toilet. Oh, Mum, turn around and sit down. She couldn't get what I was trying to say to her, which was really, really frustrating. So then I rung the doctors, and they says, oh no, we haven't got any appointments. Then the occupational therapist came and then got onto the doctors, and then the doctor came out about 6 o'clock Monday evening and says, I don't see there being a problem with your mum. And I says, right, okay. I says, well, put it this way. I says, there is. I says, I've been here all day. I says, there's no food in the house.
Which is not like my nan not to have food in the house.
In the house. I says, I've had to my daughter.
She had like 12 grandkids, 13 grandkids, so it's not like her to not have food in the house.
So when did when did she sort of start receiving some some support then to kind of look at what was going on for her?
It wasn't till we went to the hospital. Oh no, the doctor came out and said that they couldn't find, wasn't concerned, and I just basically told him, I says, anything happens to my mum, and I'll hold him responsible because she wasn't right. And then so they says, well, if we felt more helpful, would we be better if she was in hospital? I says, for her own safety, yes, because my mum she'd had both hips replaced as well, so we had her in hospital. She was in hospital about a week on antibiotics, doing tests after test after test, nothing. And then they said to us, this is oh well, your mum can go home. I says, but she's not right. But we've done everything, we can't find anything wrong with her. I says, all right. I says, have you done a head scan? They says, no, why should we? I says, because my mum's got a haematoma at the back of her head. They says, well, that's none of our concern. I says, my mum had a fall, she's got a haematoma at the back of her head. Within an hour, my mum was down having a CT scan. And we got the results back, I think, that night, to find out that she got a brain tumour. Or maybe, that night she got a brain tumour.
And did they give you any indication of what they could do?
They said,
I think they pretty much said that if they'd not done that, you would have found her dead in a week.
Yeah, they said that they could operate. There was two choices: they could operate, or we could just leave her. So we gave Mum that choice. What do you want to do? At the end of the day, she's 67. She still all had, apart from the tumour, she still had her faculties. And she says, no, I'm going to have the operation. She says, because I want to see, I'm doing it for you lot, for the children and for the grandchildren. So she had the operation, and she was out the following day. Yep. No aftercare, no nothing. I've got no carers, no nothing. I had to fight for everything to get my mum so she could continue to live at home.
Did they not provide her with an exit plan then? Because normally they kind of do an assessment, don't they?
Yep. They said that she could manage, but they only took 75% of the tumour away because they said they couldn't take any more away because it's too dangerous. And then I was told by the consultant if they hadn't have operated, then that was the end of November, beginning of December. And if they hadn't have operated, then Mum wouldn't have seen Christmas.
So what was she, after the surgery then? Did she kind of return to kind of more normality then?
Well,
in a sort of sense, I think she did, because she told me a few times that she was going to beat it.
Yeah, she told us she was going to beat it.
So, in a sort of sense, that's in her head, I'm back to normal.
Yeah.
She thought she could beat this. I ended up putting her in a home because she needed her certain medication an hour before a treatment. I wasn't always guaranteed to be there that hour before. So I ended up putting her in, I worked in a home in Harrogate, so I put her in there, and we basically looked after her there while she was going through all her treatment. And then she wanted to go home, didn't she?
Yeah.
And we sent her home. She went home. She was fine. And then she had a fall again. And the police had to break the door down to get in. Ended up back in hospital. She came out, went back home, kept falling. I'm thinking, you're not safe.
And with having a fall then, does that tend to make, I know it's obviously not good, but with she said it was only partly removed then, does it tend to cause more problems, aggravate it, or cause it to heal back in a bad way?
No, what happens is because they take so much of your brain away, you have to retrain your brain to connect, and Mum's wasn't connecting. But it would have never connected anyway. We had occupational therapists, we had everybody, and she just, I don't think she wanted to fight it really.
You can say what you like, but we're firm believers of dying of a broken heart. She lost my granddad, I think it wasn't
Granddad died October 2017.
Yeah.
My mum died Granddad died October 2016, sorry.
Yeah.
My mum died June 2018. So she was diagnosed November 17. So to get through each day, I think we just think she didn't die of the brain tumour. She died of a broken heart. Because it makes it easier, I think, for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's how we think about it. And I'm doing the Great North Run for that reason. I followed the Tom Parker story.
Where did the idea come from then?
I saw a poster on one of the billboards in the pub downstairs. And my manager Trish mentioned saying that I should go for it, but do it for a charity that I want to do it for, not the actual charity that was on the bit of paper. So I had a little think when I got home and decided to do it for my nan. I'm 34 years old. I've never done anything like this before. I'm topping the scales at nearly 17 stone.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big challenge for me, and I want to just basically make my nan proud. And she'll be rooting for me, I guess.
And that's to raise money to support specifically research, isn't it?
To research for the brain tumour charity. I followed the Tom Parker story, and that's where it hit home, because that lad isn't much younger than what I am.
Yeah.
And when you've had a family member suffer the way he did, it really hit home, and that's when I really started to think about it. I was like, yeah, more needs to be done. Maybe if there was more research done, then my nan Tom Parker might still be here if they had the right research. Maybe you never know. But
I think it's a very fast and aggressive sort of cancer, and something needs to be done to try not prevent it,
but extend the lives of the individuals that have.
Because the people that are diagnosed with grade 4, I can't pronounce the word. It's some long word. They literally have weeks, and it's one of them hidden deaths where if you don't find it, you die, basically.
So it's a really cruel
Yeah.
disease, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the best way to term it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. I've got one of my best friends, her mum, she went into hospital, she wasn't very well, and within a week she was dead. And exactly the same, she had a grade 4 cancer, brain tumour, and that's within a week. So it's just a hidden one, really.
So just talking about the challenge then that you're doing, Matt, you said like you're 17 stone, and presumably most chefs like the food, don't they?
Yeah, I love my food.
Are you on like a training diet, or have you
not
got
at
a
the
particular training
moment,
program?
because I've literally just signed up for it. I've just had all my emails through from the Great North Run for the I get a special token, and I have to take that with me. I'm currently going on holiday next week, so me and the other guy that I'm doing it with are going on holiday.
I sense the training's going to start after the holiday.
After the holiday, yeah. So it's going to be some serious intense training going on. I'm going to have to seriously push myself to limits I've never pushed myself to before, which I'm looking quite forward to be honest.
We're on the straight.
Yeah, I literally working on the running path around for the.
And what support can people, give you? Because I think obviously people will be, quite touched by the story and the reasons you're doing it. Obviously they, you want donations, don't you?
Yeah,
and is there anything else they can do, with
just
with
a
the
bit
training?
of like moral support? Maybe give me a wave if you see me around, or give me a beep or your car horn, or something like that, just to do a bit of moral support to like get me through it. I wanted to bring the story to the people of Harrogate, a little bit of joy that I'm doing something for a good cause, instead of listening about all the day-to-day news and everything else that's going on in the world. It gets you down a bit after a while, doesn't it? So I wanted to do this to bring joy to people as well.
And you're doing it with a work colleague?
I'm doing it with a work colleague. He's a friend of mine for the last 21 years.
Is he still a friend now that you've got him to do this?
Yeah, he's still a friend now, yeah. I think he's like me. I think he's anticipating it a little bit. He's not looking forward to it as much as what I am, because he knows he's a bigger lad than I am, so he knows like the extent of the training that we've got to do, and I think that's what's sort of putting him off a little bit.
Yeah.
But he is going to do it with me. We're travelling up to Newcastle on the 11th, no, not on the 11th, sorry, on the 10th of September, staying overnight, doing our training in Newcastle the day before, and then going for it. I'm not going to say I'm going to run the full 13.5 miles. I'll probably have to walk a little bit of it, because I'm not a spring chicken no more, so I can't.
No, but you can give it whatever you've got, can't you?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're doing it in memory of Nana.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's it, basically. It was my manager that actually started for it and said, go for it. You've got nothing to lose. So I thought, why not? And that's the reason why I'm off to go do this big run, and to make my nan proud. So I've not really done much apart from my 3 kids and stuff like that. And my nan was a big part of the family, big part of our life. She kept the family together, and it's just for her, really.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for talking to me.
No worries, it's been a pleasure.